Welcome, everyone, to episode 67 of the Missing Pieces podcast. If this is your first time watching or listening, my name's Greg, and this is where I sit down and I discuss my life, Lego, and anything else that's on my mind each week. And speaking of weeks, this is the first week that I've ever recorded this episode on a Saturday. That's right, it's Saturday right now, and I'm trying a little experiment here for 2021. I usually like getting up first thing in the morning on Sunday and doing these episodes. I feel like it's like super real time and everything is just kind of in the moment. But what I don't like is the fact that when I'm done recording these episodes, I then have to put it into iMovie, which is what I edit on. I keep it simple around here. And then I have to export that and upload it. And depending on how long those files are, it tends to get a little crazy with timing, and sometimes these episodes don't come out until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 p.m. in some cases, and I'd like to be more consistent. I want you to know on Sunday that at 12 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, there is a Missing Pieces episode waiting for you. So we're going to try this out on a Saturday, and then it's also cool because Sunday then I'm just going to take like the entire day off and literally do nothing other than try to organize my studio, which is something we talked about last week, one of my big goals for 2021, but I don't know. We're just trying something out here. I don't think it hurts to experiment. I think it's always a good idea to look at your life, see what's working and especially what's not working, and try to make those changes that you need to make those work. Speaking of making things, the segue's popping right now. Let's talk about making a MOC. You guys are about to listen to a Missing Pieces episode, or maybe watch this, that I have no idea how long it's going to be, but let's just say it's going to be a while. If you are not doing anything right now, if you're bored maybe, I have an idea for you to do something that could be productive and potentially win you this LEGO Ideas classic car. If you want to enter our January MOC contest, I'm doing a contest every month in January. Should I start this over? I'm doing a contest every month in 2021 where I'm going to be doing a giveaway through our Reddit. I did a video on this right before this, so I won't go into too much of it, but this month's contest is to build a brickitect mobile. So if you want to build a brickitect mobile while you're listening to this, you could kill two birds with one stone, demonetized. Should I start this over? I may actually start this over. No, we're going to keep going. Give it a shot. Gives you something to do, and I'm excited to see your MOC. Post it on my subreddit. We'll have fun with it. Let's talk about things that actually happened this week. I've been having one heck of an awesome time making videos here on brickitect. This week in particular, I feel like I've really hit my stride, and I think it's because I've been really trying to do each day with like a little bit of a story. I told you guys many episodes before this one that I have been trying to become a better storyteller. And I think what really draws people in anything, whether it be obviously movies or YouTube or whatever it is, a good book, and any entertainment, I think what draws people in is a good story. And I don't want to just make like Lego videos. I want to tell a story every day. I find that part of it to be really fun. Lego is just the medium that I use to deliver the things that I really am passionate about, which is making videos. And I've been doing that, I think, pretty well this week, and it seems like people are enjoying the videos, and I've been like really loving that. In addition to that, I've also been doing my other big goal for 2021, which I already alluded to earlier, which is getting organized. In fact, Clark and I have been getting up every day this week, every day, and we've been coming down to the studio like 6 o'clock in the morning, and we've been sorting out minifigs. It's been like this whole big event that we did this week, and every single day that we've done this, I've live streamed it. And I am really loving getting up in the morning and hitting people with these live streams. Not just hitting people with them, but like me, like I feel like when I get up in the morning and we hit the ground running with like working on the studio, which is just in desperate need of that, but also getting on and just engaging with people and hitting that energy level that I really like to get to. If you do that right away, I feel like the rest of my day just kind of like lines up. And I don't know, this week has been fun, and I'm thinking about maybe making these morning streams a thing. I don't like to overcommit to things, and I don't want to get burnt out, but getting up in the morning and for like an hour or so with Clark, man, like he's like pumped. He's pumped to come down here. I think this week in particular because we were going through all of our minifigs, and I'm literally, all I'm trying to do, we got so many minifingers, sorry guys, in the mail over the last 3 years. We've been doing mail time, I think, since January 2018. And a lot of times people send us minifigs, which is, I think is really cool. And as such, we've ended up with a huge collection. And I have a bin just labeled male minifigs. I've been taking these things and I've just been putting them in this bin. Whether they're complete, incomplete, accessories, everything minifig related goes in this bin. And after 3 years, I've decided that enough is enough. I need to kind of go through these and let's try to get them sorted out. So this week, I literally spent probably like 5 hours or maybe more just completing minifigs, not to spec. Like some of these are just completely random. And if you go over to brickitect Live, like if you want to be a part of these streams or if you just want to watch the ones that we've done, it's on our live streaming channel. I have a live streaming channel because I tend to go a little crazy with live streams and I don't want to pollute this channel with all my streams that you see endlessly. Like it's too much. So I have a whole channel just dedicated to live streaming and it's called brickitect Live and it's linked down below. And I'm just trying to get the minifigs like complete. So we have a whole bin now of complete minifigs after this time that we spent on this. All mismatched and stuff, but that's okay. I have a bin of accessories which I intend to go through. Like what I want to do ideally is organize and sort these down to like, these are the headpieces and helmets. These are the weapons. These are plant life. These are animals. Like we have a whole bunch of horses and things. Maybe a thing for big figs. Maybe ones that are for like random things. Like different types of figures and stuff. I think it'd just be really cool to have that level of organization. And Clarkman actually inspired me to do this because he's been trying to build Mandalorian minifigs. And he's been rooting through there and trying to find stuff. And I'm like, how cool would it be if we actually had these things organized to the point where you could build what you want? And I know that's going to take like another step after this because people are like, well, Greg, you're not really sorting per se because you would tear like all the pants off and have like a place for legs. You'd have a place for torsos. You have a place for heads. And I would like to do that, but I know that's going to take an incredible amount of time to ever rebuild those. So for now, like there are some that are built properly. I don't want to be hasty cake and end up tearing apart ones that are built properly and then try to struggle to be like, wow, what's the face that's supposed to go this one as I'm looking it up on my computer. I'm like, oh, that kind of looks the same. That one's a little different. I don't know if I want to go to that level yet, but right now it's nice knowing that I have a bin of just complete minifigs. They all have legs. They all have a torso, they have a head, and some of them have a little bit of like hairpiece or a helmet or something on occasionally, like when it's appropriate. But we've made some progress, and that feels good. Like you just got to take little steps. I tell you guys all the time and pressure. And if you want to have your whole studio organized, and you're not building a brickitect mobile right now, a little bit of advice-itect, just pick one thing up off your table. Pick up your Lego Ideas car that you're giving away in your mock contest. Dude, hyping this up. And put it on a shelf. Put it where it should be. And then when you come back, do that again. And you'll realize that over time, like these things are getting organized and it's going to feel good. You're going to have like a free table. Like I should follow my own advice because to have a free table yesterday when I did my video, I literally slid everything out of the way because I have 2 6-foot tables lined up and everything now is on table 2. But yeah, that's what was this week with live streaming. I found like this love for live streaming. I do want to do a bit of a follow-up on something that I talked about last week, and that was this dream that I had to either bring back the late night radio show, which is like kind of like what this is, where I'm just sitting here vibing, but it's like a real-time thing with people in the chat, and we kind of just talk about whatever, or bringing back Breaking It Down live, which is where I would just be doing like a Q&A thing. It'd be kind of like a rapid-fire Q&A thing. And you guys in the comments for last week's episode, there was a lot of people that wanted these back, and it was kind of split. I'm like, is there consensus here? Is there one thing that people want to see more than the other? And it seemed to be a pretty even split between the two of them. But I realized something while doing these morning streams, and I don't know if I should base everything off of 4 or 5 streams that we did, but I don't know if it's going to be possible for me to do those series that I want to do. And it kind of comes down to, and I hope no one takes offense to this that may have been in those streams, but it kind of comes down to the chat. Like what I'm really looking for is like a really high level conversation where we can delve into the missing pieces style things as opposed to like the very simple stuff like what's your favorite Lego set, or are you buying this, or what's your favorite theme, like the favorite questions and stuff like that. I understand why people ask them and stuff, and it's fine, but like I want to like transcend that. And I have kind of realized that like during these streams and kind of checking the chat here and there and, engaging and stuff, as much as I'm having fun doing these streams and like entertaining you guys, I don't know if we could pull off a 30-minute episode where I'm delivering the type of content that I really want to deliver through like a Breaking It Down or a late night radio show. And I kind of realized to myself as well that I kind of have a late night radio show already. It's just not on YouTube, it's on Patreon. Every Friday night we do the Friday night patron streams, and it literally feels like the late night radio show. We're set up here. Clarkman is usually sitting beside me. Last night we started on our newest build, which you guys saw me get this week. We started on the modular police station. We got 3 bags done. We did 2 bags last night during the stream, and then Clark and I got up this morning. This was 6 o'clock today, actually before 6 o'clock, and we did bag 3. So this is coming along rather nicely, and I guess this kind of ties us into being a Lego podcast. If you're just listening to this, I have basically the floor of the police station mostly done. We've got the jail cell, some of the wall coming up. We're 4 rows high on pretty much everything, and then the donut shop is probably the most constructed part, and inside the donut shop are some various pastries that you can buy. There's a cash register, there's a woman standing out front. It's a pretty cool set so far. Last night, like, Clark and I were just here and we're chatting with the patrons, and I just love doing the Patreon streams because it's like a community there. We have, I think, like 123 patrons right now. I would say actively, like, a lot of people are there just to show their support, which is awesome. But I would say actively we have like maybe like 18 people or so, like 15 to 20 people that come to all the streams that we do. And I just love the vibe that we have there, where it's like, I know who all these people are. They know us pretty well. These are like the 1% of people, right? And we're just like, we're having a good time. We have the Discord, so it's like we're always in conversation. It feels like a family. And I use that phrase this week, and I think that's probably the truest sense of what we have there. And that's what I'm dreaming about with these late night radio shows, or the breaking it down. Like, that's the kind of intimacy that I want. And that's very hard to do with the public, especially when you have a decent following. And I know this is like first world problems. I don't even consider it a problem. I'm just explaining why you may or may not see this series in the future. I want that level of intimacy, but I can't do that when there's 80 people watching and everybody's like chirping away with, miscellaneous things that may not even be related to kind of what we're talking about. Maybe I could try it, and if I was sitting down like this and we really just kind of drove that point home that this is kind of what it's going to be, maybe the younger kids and stuff, being that Clarkman isn't there and that we're not showing all kinds of cool stuff and it's just some dude sitting at his desk like this, maybe that would kind of drive them away eventually, and they'd be like, yeah, I'm not really interested in this, and we could get to that level, and I'd be interested in experimenting with that. But I feel like I'm chasing something that I don't need to be chasing because I already have it. Right? How many times do we do that in our life where it's like, oh, I really want this thing. Like, this thing will make me happy. It's like, well, you already have it. I have it with my patrons. And I've considered doubling down on these Patreon streams and basically just going exclusively on Patreon for all my streams. Like, if I'm live streaming, it's going to be on Patreon. And if there's 2 people there watching it, that's fine. If there's 20, if there's 100, it is, it can be whatever. But then I think about, those kids that are watching that stream, even though we're not having the conversation that I dream of having, like a missing pieces type conversation where we're like each other's therapist or whatever you want to say. I know for a fact that some of those people there, they thoroughly enjoy what we're doing. And that morning stream to them just like brightens up their day. I'm not going to get emotional as I get emotional, but maybe like that's the thing that like they needed that day. Maybe it was like, oh, it's Greg and Clark and they're live. I just got up getting ready for school or whatever, and it's cool to see this, and they're having a fun time, and maybe it put a little smile on their face, and they left the house that day in like a whole nother, in like a whole nother mindset. That's why I'm not going to go exclusive on Patreon. I want to make the videos for those peeps, and I do have a heck of a fun time. If the chat isn't if it's just, ask what my favorite set is, if I saw the newest Lego news or whatever, that's fine. It's fine. We have a blast there. And the patrons come over there as well. And I feel like we could do this. I think I just need to kind of develop it a little bit. But for now, I'm going to put the late night radio show and the breaking it down live kind of on the back burner. I'm still going to do these morning streams. Again, I don't want to get burnt out on it, but I have this love of live streaming and making that connection. And I just think it's so cool to have like a television studio from your basement or anywhere, and you can just click a button and here we are. And like, this is real time and we're like doing this, I think is really cool. Plus the fact that I'm accomplishing something, like we're getting stuff organized. And I thought, if I'm going to be doing this, why not why not live stream it, right? Like if I'm going to be tearing apart a set, or if I'm going to be organizing, or if we're going to be sorting or whatever, why not just hit the live button, right? Like people want to watch, they can, and hopefully they get something out of it. But it's fun, but I think where my true heart lies is on Patreon, which, speaking of that, I needed to segue into this somehow. I want to give a thank you to our two newest patrons, Steven and Chris. They both joined this week. So guys, thank you so much for that. I did make a commitment that I am going to be exclusively live streaming the builds for this on Patreon. So being that this was bought for us by a patron, I feel like that's a cool way to repay them. So hopefully you guys don't mind that, but I will do a review on this or a Today I Built, which, speaking of that, we're getting our goals done, guys. This week I did 2 Today I Builts. We did the wooden duck, which is so much fun. And that video turned into a story as well, and it became like this thing about Lego's deceptive advertising, which was a joke, and I think like 99% of people got it, so that was fun. I also did a Today I Built on the White House, which was Phantom's set that he chose before this one. So we're kind of getting through the backlog of Today I Built, but I think that's going to be a fun series. It's not like a serious review thing. It's just like, hey, I built this thing. This is what I like about it. Maybe this is what I don't like. I thought this part of the build was fun. Clarkman chimes in with his amazing inspirational thoughts on it, and we just wrap it with like a 2-minute video on what many others probably would have done a 25-minute review on or whatever. Just my style. I don't like reviewing sets, but I do like to share my Lego collecting journey, and I don't feel like that's complete unless I show like the completed models that I do. So I have like a whole table of stuff that I built, and I have some ideas for videos that I want to do, and it just feels good to kind of get some of these goals done. And we're only a week into 2021, which has like been a crazy week, I guess, politically and stuff, but we're not going to get into that here. But you work on some goals, other goals that you think you have, you're kind of working towards them, but then you realize like, oh, maybe that's not going to work right now, and we shelf it. But back to the whole live streaming thing. I really see myself being a live streamer in the future. Like maybe once Clark goes to school and I have like this free time during the day, I'm working on stuff in my studio. I feel like I'm going to really go all in on brickitect like come September through eternity or whatever. Like this is going to be it's going to be big for me. Like I thought it was going to be this year. I had no anticipation of Clarkman being home, which is awesome because we're getting all these experiences together. But I really thought brickitect would just blow up in September because that's when I was going to be putting all my heart and soul into this channel. And Greg's World was kind of just going to sit on the side, and maybe if some fun things happen there, we record it. But brickitect was going to be my jam. I'd really like to get to a day sometime, if Clark ever does go to school or whatever, or if I'm just here, I'd like to have like a schedule every week where I'm going live, working on stuff or building stuff or sorting or whatever it is, like Monday through Friday, like every day at noon or whatever, 3 o'clock, whatever. I guess it couldn't be 3 because Clark could be home then, but I really do see live streaming as a part of my future. And I think to get the audience that I really am striving for getting, I hate to say it, but I think it's going to require Clark not being in those videos. And I know some of you that's kind of devastating, but when you have Clarkman in the videos, it draws in a younger crowd. Don't tell the FTC. But of course they're 13 years or older, but it draws in that younger crowd, and that becomes like, not necessarily bad, but it's not the type of people that I want to like, how do I say this? Like I'm looking for people like me. We've talked about this before. I'm looking for people like me, but people like me typically, they don't exist. They're not watching a Lego live stream. They're probably at work. I don't know. How do you find people that are weird like yourself? That's the question that I've been trying to figure out. And the cool thing is, through Patreon and our Discord, I feel like it's happening. We found these people, and I'm thankful for all the people there. It's awesome. This is not hyping Patreon whatsoever, or maybe it is, but I don't know. I'm stoked about it, and I'm trying to find my path here, guys. That's what Missing Pieces is about, right? Like it's my life, Lego, and anything else that's in my mind. And right now I'm trying to find this path and find like what direction I'm going and how do I get there and who's going to be there with me and who do I want there with me. And it's not easy, but we'll navigate this, and I'll kind of bring you guys along with me as we play the game. Speaking of playing games, yes, segue, baby. Let's talk some gamer tech news. This is my first week with the PlayStation 5. I love it. No spoilers there. Clark and I unboxed it in a Greg's World video this week. You can see it behind us here if you're watching, and you can see it. The big boy stacked up right back there where my finger's pointing. It's a fantastic console. Clark and I we had a great time unboxing it, did a cool video. And then we started playing this game called Astro's Playroom that I absolutely love. I love it. It's a free game for PlayStation 5, and the whole idea of it, it's like a platformer, but it's trying to show you all of the things that the PlayStation 5 controller can do. And it has all these different motion controls and stuff. And Clark and I played it, and it was such a good time. We live streamed it, of course. If we do something, we're probably live streaming it, but we streamed that on our gaming channel. And it was so much fun because Clark was laughing so hard, like belly laughing. You parents out there know what I'm talking about. When your kid gets laughing so hard that they're belly laughing, it's that type of laughter that like it really comes from deep. It brightened my soul, and I'm sure it did for other people out there as well. But we played through this game. I think we played through a couple levels on day 1, and then we beat the game on day 2. It's not a long game by any means, but it made me realize that I just really love playing platformer games. Like I think it's my jam. As much as I do like the multiplayer stuff, and I really love Battle Royale, it's very satisfying making some epic jumps and completing a level or whatever, beating a boss. It feels good. It feels rewarding, more so than getting killed in the first 3 minutes you drop into Warzone. But we won't talk about that. I want to do more platformers. I saw that there's like a PS Plus collection or something like that, and Crash Bandicoot is on there, which is a series that I kind of missed out on when I was a kid, so I'm thinking about maybe trying that out. I also have Spider-Man. I saw people are asking if I'm going to be playing other games as well. I have Spider-Man for PS4, which I can play on PS5, so I might do that as well. I've got Red Dead Redemption 2. I bought these games for my nephew whose PlayStation shut down. PlayStation 5 games, I'd like to get Miles Morales and play that. I think that'd be fun. But I'm enjoying the PlayStation 5. I look at it as like an opportunity for me and Clark and I to spend time together, and it's been a great investment. I'm also using it for my home theater setup. So the PlayStation 5 runs to a projector that's up over here that you can't see in the shot right now, and then that goes on the screen over here, and it's been awesome playing. We've been playing all of our PlayStation 5 games on here, and the only downside is, and I probably talk more about this next week, is the receiver that we use for all of our audio. It's a little bit older, and it takes the 4K signal from the PlayStation 5, and I have the 4K signal from the projector. In between those, the receiver. That's only 1080p, so it limits me to 1080p. So yesterday, Clark and I went to Best Buy, and we bought a new receiver, which I wasn't planning to do. Like, that was the one piece I was planning to keep. I upgraded to a 4K projector. I upgraded to the PlayStation 5. I was like, oh, sound-wise, we're good. But no, I had to upgrade that as well. So now we should be in 4K, and it should be looking so good. I have other things coming here. If you guys can see behind me, there's a box right there, if I can point to it. That is a big shelf that's going to go right there under the Lego logo, if I can move my hand properly. I feel like the weatherman here. If you're listening to this, don't mind me. There's going to be a big shelf there. I'm moving the shelf that's over there right now under the projector over here. I've got a coffee table upstairs. New stools for Baratech. This is a studio update, apparently. New stools for Baratech. The guy came to look at the Baratech today, the guy that's going to be ripping it out, and I think on like February 1st is the day that the new Baratech is coming in. This beautiful granite's going to be there, and that's going to be like a new set for us to enjoy, so I'll keep you updated on that. But it was it's been awesome kind of transforming the studio into what I want it to be. You guys know the carpet scenario or saga or whatever, and I don't know, I'm just really I'm really stoked, and I feel like things are coming together for me. I don't want to say that too much, though, because then you don't know. Something terrible can happen anytime. You just got to appreciate the good things when they happen, I suppose. But that was this week in Gamertech, and it was a big week, man. Like I was telling Clark, man, it's not often you get to unbox a new console. Like when the PlayStation 6 comes out, Clark, man, will probably be a teenager. It's wild to think about, isn't it? So like unboxing that and playing it for the first time, and like getting to record that and capture that, I thought was really awesome, because it's like one of those moments. The first time we played it, it's cool. So I just wanted to share that. I do have some Watchatech news. We've been watching like a lot of movies lately, but with that 2-week break between last week's episode and the one before, I kind of just scrapped all the things I watched. We watched some Batman movies before. We watched the original Batman Returns, my personal favorite, unpopular opinion. We watched the movie Soul. We watched Wonder Woman 84, which wasn't my favorite movie, but I love like the first sequence of that. But last night we watched a movie called X-Men Dark Phoenix, and I had mixed reviews, but I loved it. it's made me realize you just got to go in on things. If there's something you think you're going to like, just watch it. Dark Phoenix was really fun to watch. It's on HBO Max if anybody has such things, which you may have it if you tried getting it for Wonder Woman 84. Maybe you're left disappointed, or maybe you loved it and you're like, I need another superhero movie. X-Men Dark Phoenix, it's set before the other X-Men movies, like the ones that you probably have seen. And it tells the story of Jean Grey. And it's full of action, like from the very beginning. I watched like the first 15 minutes, and Mrs. Brickitect was doing some stuff, and I was like, hey, do you want to watch this movie? She's like, yeah, I'll come in and watch pieces of it. I'm like, you got to watch it from the beginning. So we literally watched the first 15 minutes again, and then we watched it, I think like an hour of it. I came down, did the Patreon stream, which was cool, and then we went back up and watched the rest, and I enjoyed the movie quite a bit. There is one thing that happens with a particular character that doesn't really mesh with the timeline, because this character exists in the future in the other movies, but like I won't say anything more because you're going to start narrowing it down when I say she. But something happens in the movie that I'm like, wait a minute, how does the rest of that work? But I enjoyed the movie quite a bit, and I'm planning to do some more watching today. I was looking through HBO at all of the Batman stuff and Superman stuff, and I saw that there's one animated movie on there I think it's called Superman Red Sun, and it's like, I haven't seen any reviews for it. I'm just intrigued by the title. It's what would happen if instead of Superman landing in Kansas, he landed in like the USSR apparently. So I'm excited to like kind of see what that's like, and like would they weaponize Superman? I don't know. I'm just into the superhero stuff, so I will report back to you guys next week on that. And I'm sure we'll have other Watch-A-Tech news as well, because I don't know, it's cold out. There's nothing to do. So we watch movies together as a family, and we probably will watch it down here. We watched a little bit of Soul down here, and I was like, whoa, it was cool. It was really cool. So I don't regret for a second taking my shelves off of this wall with my dusty old Lego sets on it and putting up a projector that we can use, and getting a couch and stuff, which I think you guys can. You can't see my sofa, can you? You can see the edge of it. That's all you get. Little sneak. I'll do a tour down here once I have everything set up the way that I want it. But now, as we are getting pretty deep into this episode here, I was thinking this would be a shorter one. Let's talk about listener feedback. I'm always happy to hear from you guys and see what you guys have to say about the things that I talk about. You can tell me I'm right, wrong. You can bring up anything that you would like to talk about in the next episode. I look at every comment and I share the ones that I think are like relevant to the conversation here. Starting with Jim Rolfe, who is a longtime supporter. I really shouldn't like Jim because he got us into Lego Super Mario, and now it's gotten a little expensive, but I appreciate him commenting nonetheless. Jim knows I'm joking. He says, good luck to you in 2021 in achieving headway in some of your goals. I'm hoping to not forget my mask every time I leave my car. Baby steps, Greg. I mean, like I said, you got to start somewhere. It is weird, the whole mask thing. Like Clark and I have gotten out of the car before, and I walk like through the parking lot. I'm like, oh yeah, we got to wear masks. This is still a thing. It's happening still. So we do that. The next one comes from Buddy Lee 6996. He says, great Missing Pieces episode. I gave him an accent. I really like what you have planned for the future of your channel, and the studio plan is going to be sweet. I think the late night radio show would be awesome. My 2021 goal is to also get organized, especially my Lego collection as well. Well, you could tune into our streams and we can do this together. I've been really thinking about Box Lives Matter and how long I'm going to sustain it. I don't know what it is about having the box for a set. You and Clark, man, are great. I relate to you in a lot of ways. Keep on keeping on, Greg. Dude, as I'm reading this, I'm feeling like you and I are the same person. Like I could have literally written this comment myself. My goal is to get organized. I've been thinking about Box Lives and how long I can sustain it. You, me, same. And I can tell you with certainty, at least with the level of collecting that I do, that I can't keep boxes. I can't do it. And we're gonna talk about this here in a second. Actually, the next person that commented, Stud Sidious is the next commenter. He is the guy that inspired me to no longer keep my boxes. It was on I think it was a Brickstar video. He made a comment on there about how really all Lego boxes are marketing material, and he's worked on that end of it where he's designed marketing stuff, and he said oftentimes it's not even what the original designer wanted, but they compromise. And when you think about boxes as not necessarily a collector's piece or a piece of art, but more of just a thing to get you to buy a set, which is why expensive sets have these ginormous boxes that they don't need to even be half that size. It's to make you feel like you got value. Why should I have all that volume taking up space in my limited space here just for that. Like, that's not what's important. What's important is the sets. What's important is the experience that you have with it, the playing with it, building it. It's not having a box. And Stud Sidious, who has this next comment here, he's the guy that inspired me. So if there's one person to thank or to hate for the box, I hate saying the Box Lives movement at this point. Like, I'm realizing now that it may be in poor taste saying that, but it's supposed to be kind of like, boxes and, I don't know. Let's read Stud's comment here. He says, I agree with you 100% about the organization in space versus displaying sets and boxes for no reason. This guy hates boxes, and that's why I like him. He says, when you actually think about it, unless you're running a LEGO museum displaying every set under the sun, it is not practical and stupid. Who will really see it? The fun of LEGO is creating with it, not watching someone else's creation collect dust. I found having a large collection of sets broken down into parts with a library of manuals from sets is the sets I bought is the way to go. I keep some of my favorite sets together, but it's more fun to have a library of manuals and organized parts to just build whatever you want whenever you want. I rebuild sets all the time. That's the fun part for me, at least. Again, that's just my point of view. Everyone's is different. The true meaning of LEGO is to create with it, not to have a dust collection. This is the type of comment that inspires me. Maybe it will inspire you too. You never know who's listening to this, and maybe you're like Buddy Lee, who's sitting there with all your boxes stacked up like I used to be. Like, my entire studio was a box fortress with them creeping on me and making me feel very anxious. I like this clean look. I like having space. But he makes a great point there. Like, what are you going to enjoy more? And like, what's the purpose of having all these things? Like, if you like looking at stuff, that's fine. But like, for me, LEGO is about sharing this hobby with my son and like documenting it. Like, that part of it. Like, my least favorite part is then storing it or having it on display. I mean, I do like having some stuff on display like he talked about, but I can't display everything. So most stuff that I build ends up getting broken down, and then I used to put it in the box, and it's like, okay, you have this giant box with this little bag inside. Like, why? So I like the idea that he has, and that's kind of what I'm doing too, where I'm having, like, I always wanted a LEGO library, but it took me a long time to realize that library doesn't have to consist of boxes sitting on a shelf collecting dust. It can be a 3-ring binder full of manuals that you page through, and you're like, oh, I'd like to build that set. You pull the manual out, you go over to your drawer, your tote or whatever, you slide it out, you pull out the bag that has the set number written on it in like a Ziploc bag, you come over and build it, and you have that experience over again. That's how I'm living my life right now, and I have no regrets. I will say I haven't thrown away many of my boxes yet. Most of them I took inside a moving box and just flattened them all out. I'm trying to get the bravery to throw them away, but I can tell you with 100% certainty, my life is absolutely unchanged from having full boxes of LEGO sets to having flattened boxes with pieces elsewhere. Not changed at all. But that comment I really love, and I appreciate you taking the time to leave that, Stud. And I appreciate the inspiration for having me make this move, because had it not been for that comment and like really like changing my mindset over the last year, this place, it would be just like our last studio, and I don't want that anymore. Like, it looks cool on video, right? Like he was saying, like, you have a LEGO museum and it looks cool having all these sets and stuff, but I want a space that I can enjoy. I want to have some building tables. I want to have a movie theater. I want to have brickitect. Like, I want to have spots where we can stream and where I can actually do other stuff. I don't want to be like choked in by LEGO sets, like infiltrating my life. I don't want that anymore. Anyways, let's go on to the next comment here. Thank you for that inspiration and getting me all fired up. Next one is from Mr. Know-It-All 1. I like the name. Hey, Greg, this episode theme to me is about ambition. At what point does ambition or confidence become arrogance, and what each one means to you? One of my goals in life has been being more self-aware. As someone who is confident, I want to know about the difference. Whether or not you're arrogant or ambition for me is all about perspective. But no matter what, you'll be called one or the other. Sorry this comment being kind of random, but as soon as I heard you wanted some new topic, I perk up and waited for the right time. As always, great video. I like this. Mr. Know-It-All, he's wondering about whether confidence can lead to arrogance or whether they're the same thing. I think people like confident people. Like, people like people that know what they want, where they're going, what their plan is, what their goal is. Arrogance is when you take that to the next level and you play down other people to make yourself feel better. I think that's arrogance. Like, you can be really intelligent and people might respect you for being intelligent, but as soon as you make someone feel stupid, that's when it becomes a problem. So if you do feel like you're in that position, I think you just got to be careful with how you deal with people. Maybe not having the username Mr. Know-It-All. It could be a good like first step, but I don't know. I just think it's about how you treat other people. You might be really good at something. Like you could be a pro NFL quarterback or whatever, and that's all cool. Like people probably like you for that. But if you talk about how good you are and how bad everyone else is or how much they suck, that's when arrogance comes in. And I know I have tendencies towards going to arrogance. Like sometimes I just feel like, and it might even feel that way when I'm talking about stuff, and I hope it doesn't. I always say I'm trying not to brag, but like even when you talk about how great your week is, or how you're like, I started this episode, I was talking about how I was really feeling my videos this week, and I love the path that I'm taking. Does that come off as arrogant? I hope not. I don't want it to be, but it's just like, if you're feeling good about something, like that's cool, but like I'll be just as likely to say how I'm feeling bad about something, right? It's tough. It's a tough path to navigate. But I like it when people are real more than anything. Like if you get on social media platforms and stuff and you see people only ever just having the time of their lives and everything's fantastic and amazing, and they never show you the other side of it, that's the thing that bothers me. I know that doesn't really go into arrogance, but I'm just talking about like keeping it real. And I'd much rather have someone be real. If they're real and arrogant, at least you know they're arrogant, as opposed to somebody that fakes it all the time. Fakers are the worst. So that's my thoughts on that. But I'd love to continue that conversation if anyone has any thoughts on arrogance versus confidence and where you draw the line or how to navigate those things. I think that could be helpful for a lot of people. The next comment comes from Brick Jam. Brick Jam! Hey, Greg. Unfortunately, my first comment on this podcast was on last week's episode, so I'm here now. Currently watching this while making the floor plan for a LEGO Among Us map. Do you guys enjoy the game? We played it a few times. It's not my game. I didn't like it as much as what other people seem to enjoy it. Mostly because I was playing with a bunch of sweats that all they did was just stand in the surveillance room or whatever and watch the cameras the whole time. And that wasn't fun. So I think you got to find the right group of people that are like noobs at it. And I never know where to go or what I'm doing, but I really love being the imposter, and I like trying to like get out of it. I think that's the fun part for me. He says, I completely agree with your opinion regarding your content. So refreshing to see someone within the LEGO community who documents more than just LEGO itself. Most people's lives don't revolve around it, so a few can relate to those who make content like that. I respect and enjoy their work, but I do feel that social media is best enjoyed interacting with others. I'm trying to vary my content myself, and I'm in the midst of making a video I think many will enjoy. Funny how it's about knockoff Lego too. However, this brand is actually great. Anyways, if you're reading this, I hope you take from this that we all deeply enjoy the special and personal feel of your content. Keep it up. I'm sorry I butchered that, but I appreciate your comment there quite a bit. I agree with what you're saying. Like I don't have any qualms with people that just share Lego stuff. I think he's referring to the comment that I made last week about how I'm gravitated towards channels that they just don't show a Lego set. Like it's about them. Like I think of a great channel that I really love watching, and that's Bricksar, and he does a great job with that. Like if you're watching his channel, you might be watching it for Lego, but you're watching it just as much for his personality and what he brings to the table. And in terms of storytellers, I feel like he's fantastic. So I can't hype the dude up enough, but I love channels like that. I guess I like more like vlog style channels, more so than like review channels or speed build channels or mock channels. I like ones that have like a personality attached to them. Like there's somebody on the other end of it, and I think it helps when you show yourself. I mean, you could get away with never showing your face and still being like really engaging and entertaining. And like very, like having a following, I think is great. But for me and my personal taste, and we all have different tastes, I feel like it's fun to like to know about that person. I would say for us, we probably are maybe more personal or more like we put ourselves out there more than most people probably would ever feel comfortable doing. But I don't know. It's just, I guess you got to make the type of videos that you like to watch, and that's kind of what I do. But I appreciate the kind remarks there. Next message comes from Colin. He says, hey, Greg, this came to me last night, so I had to share. We need to cherish the time with our parents when we can. We talked about this before in the podcast, so I thought I would share this message because it reiterates that. I'm in high school, and sooner or later, those opportunities to spend time won't be there. I think you should always try and spend time with your parents when they ask for it, especially because they want to cherish you while they can. In short, savor the memories now because they'll be gone soon. And I love what you're doing with Clark and taking advantage of the home videos and at-home learning. Yeah, I mean, I try to live it, man. I know, like, I feel it happening. Like, my son just turned 6 years old, and I feel the time slipping away. Like, 12 years from now, he's going to be 18. He's going to be moved out. Like, I got to take advantage of every moment. And a lot of that involves us, like, spending as much time together that we can. And I love the little dude. Like, I might be biased, but I think he's a cool little fella. And it's fun documenting these things and looking back on it as well, which I would really love to talk about. I was going to save this for its own episode, but I felt like this would be a great way to kind of wrap this episode up because this kind of came up more than once this week. This message is from Dennis. He says, "Hi, Greg, longtime listener, first-time caller. Thanks for calling in, Dennis." He says, "I have a question. Do you feel that videoing your day-to-day experiences for your video time capsule takes away from the experiences itself? Thanks for another great podcast episode." I like that message because I see people. The quick answer to that is no, I don't feel that way because there's so much to a day, and I make maybe a 15-minute video, 20-minute video, which is just edited down ever so slightly. So it's not like my entire day is documented. I just try to share like a story of each day or what the fun thing was from that day. And oftentimes that's like my journal and how I remember what happened that day. And it's like epic for me to look back on. And I'll talk about that, my responses here in a second, because I got another message a few days after this one, I think, but this is the first time I saw it. This came from Lightning Speed Extreme, who commented on one of my videos. It says, "Hey, Greg, you most likely won't read this, but this is something for missing pieces." It says, "I've been thinking about something. It's nice that you record your life in moments, but I think life is made so you can live the big and small moments that spark joy and love in our life, not to capture those moments in the cage of internet. And I don't know how your whole family reacts to you picking up the camera and film everything from Christmas, time for family, and all the way to filming you eat breakfast up to lunch. Maybe you should take a day or two or maybe even 3 off to live with your wife, son, and family." And maybe there's people out there that feel this way, because I could see that. Like when I see people go places and I see them like literally with their phone out taking pictures the whole time, I'm like, why don't you just experience that? It never really occurred to me that maybe I'm doing that as well, but I left a message back to this person because to me, like this is what I love to do. Like I would never tell someone if they find their passion in life, which for me, making videos is my passion. I love every aspect of it, from the recording equipment to the camera equipment to the editing process to the uploading to the gratification that you get from that, and also being able to make a living at this. Like this is what I love to do. I love this. And just because you see vlogs coming out of somebody, and being in this, I think, is how you have to realize this. Because you see me make a 10-minute vlog today, or you see me make a Lego video, that's just something I'd be doing anyway. So I'm like living my life, but I'm documenting it and sharing it as well. And like, that's not my entire day, right? Like if I record our Monday through Friday remote learning kindergarten, what do you think happens on the weekends? Like we're doing stuff, but here's how I reply to him. And I think I think in writing, I'm much better at replying than I am, verbally like this. I'm a much better writer than speaker. My response to Lightning Speed was, "Making these videos encourages me to live life to the fullest. I wake up every day thinking about what I want to do and what I want to share. Making these videos allows me to have a life at home with my family and not be at a job 50 hours a week like my life was a few years ago. To sweeten it even more, I love doing this and don't feel like I need a day off because this isn't work. This is my hobby. I'm so thankful for this opportunity and will be even more thankful in the future to be able to look back on these amazing times. I encourage you to use the time you spend judging my life. This might be a little too far. I encourage you to use the time you spend judging my life to look within yourself and find the thing that you love to do to the fullest in the same way that I'm trying to do." And I don't know, advice to tech kind of came out there, and I hope that doesn't come off as condescending, but I do feel that way, and I feel that way for you too. Like I am so passionate about video making. I do think there is a level of finding balance there, but I think I've gotten much better at that. And the times that I am making videos, I would be doing it anyway. Just like I talked about with the live streams. Like if we're going to be sitting there on the floor sorting them, why not turn the camera on and like have fun with it, right? In fact, I think we have more fun with the camera on than anything. And with making videos, like I feel like I would lose more time if I didn't make videos than if I did, especially when it comes to vlogging. I feel like if it was like just a random Wednesday, like, we'll just hang out today. We're not really going to do anything. But with making videos, and this is what I was trying to convey in my message there, I was like, okay, we're going to do something today. We got to make today special. What can we do? Hey, how about we go to the RC park with the new truck that we got and see if we can jump it off of a jump and smash it or something, right? Like just an example, but it's like, I feel like it encourages me to do more. And the same thing with Lego. It's like, hey, I'm going to make a video today. Or I'm going to record missing pieces. Like, if it wasn't for making videos, I'd probably just be like slacking right now. I'd probably be watching videos. I'd probably just be like sitting around. I mean, I don't think that if you take something away, it automatically adds something somewhere else. Like it just comes down to priorities and what you want to do. And I I just love this. I love doing what I do, and I picture myself doing this the rest of my life. And as I said to him in that comment, this video time capsule, I think, is going to be one of the greatest gifts that I could give to myself and to Clark and maybe his future generations in the future beyond him, to be able to look back and see what life was like. I would love to sit down and watch videos of my childhood if they existed. My parents didn't have a camcorder. We didn't have the money for such things. We have some photos, but very few. I don't know what my parents were like when I was 5 years old, like, you know, without just memories. Like, I'd like to see what a day of our life was like. I'd like to know that my dad gave crap and spent a ton of time with me, and we did a lot of adventures and had fun. I'd like to know that I was cared for and cared about and everything was celebrated. Like these things that I'm making, I feel like is my life's work. I feel like this gives me purpose. Outside of being a dad and a husband, like I'm a YouTuber, or a video maker, I should say, because it's not YouTube. That's just the platform that these go out on. I love to do what I do, and I'm super passionate about this. So that last comment there, like, I encourage other people, like, don't look from outside and try to judge somebody and what you think is best for them. I try to make no assumptions about you. That's why I'm adverse to giving advice. But this is one piece of advice that I'll give, and that's that try to find the thing that you love to do in this life, because you only get one chance. You're never going to get to do this again. And don't live your life with regrets. If there's something you want to do and you think other people aren't going to approve of it, or if it looks bad to other people because you're spending too much time doing something, at least in their eyes, and you're not truly living, who are they to judge what's truly living? Only you can decide what truly living is for you. And I'm going to send you out with this message, because I think this week, if you have any goal for 2021, maybe this week, start on this. Start thinking, like, where am I going and what do I want to do? You don't have to have it figured out. Many people don't. I didn't have it figured out forever. I spent all of my 20s trying to figure out what my passion was. I got books on it. I knew I wanted to work for myself. I knew I wanted to be self-employed. I knew I was a lone wolf and a solo Rolo was the way that I wanted to live, but I didn't know how I was going to do that. It wasn't until I got my first video camera that I was like, I really like doing this. And then I started making 5 cents a day and 10 cents a day. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And through that passion and through that interest, I somehow went from being this super awkward person on camera to somehow being able to sit here with you guys and have a conversation like this and feel like completely at peace with it. And I hope for anyone out there that's listening to this, and I'm not going to get emotional, I hope that you can find that little thing in your life that you love to do, even if it doesn't make any money, and just go all in, even if it's just for a short period of time. Just give it everything you got for just a little bit and see where it takes you. And if you don't have anything in your life like that, experiment, try around with some things, try some new stuff. You never know what's going to be that thing. So on that, wherever that went, brickitect, I think, is going to send this out. We only had one win of the week last week. I'd love to see more. But we had it from the Nerd Gamer 2020, who said my win of the week was on Monday. I got Battlefront 2 on Steam for $11. All my friends hate it, but I'm having an amazing time. See, it's the little things, guys. I thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. I hesitate anytime I give advice or get any kind of. I should stick to just talking about myself, but sometimes it ventures out of that, and I hope that maybe there's somebody out there that gets something from my experiences and the things that are going well and bad, and that's the whole purpose of Missing Pieces. To be completely honest with you guys, I've considered not having this available to the public because I feel like, man, people judge me enough. Like, for example, this person judged me. And I feel like, man, people judge me enough. Do they really need to be let inside of all of my dreams and aspirations? And should I be that open? And just like with the live streams, I feel like the answer is yes. I feel like there's value that can be found in this. And it would be a shame to block this or to not do this. Like, it's those doubts come creeping in. And then when we go off on tangents like that, I'm like, yeah, it's probably the right decision. But then when I sit down here every week and I do these episodes, I feel like it feels like a piece of therapy for me, and it feels like a release a little bit. Like, that was on my mind and now it's gone. And that's why I do this. So it's as much for you as it is for me. And again, I hope that you enjoy these episodes. I hope that you find them informative, entertaining, encouraging, educational, whatever you're getting out of this. I hope there's something that you get from sitting down with me here. If anything, maybe it's that you just build a brickitect mobile and it's done, and now you're taking a picture and putting it on Reddit. So if you guys want to do that, there's like 4 more weeks of that. You can binge some Missing Pieces if this is your jam, and you can listen to it while I talk about my life, Lego, and anything else that's on my mind. So I guess on that, I hope you guys have a glorious rest of your week, and I'll see you next Sunday at noon Eastern for the next Missing Pieces, where we'll find you in the next Missing Pieces.